I'm a good boy. When I was a kid, for some reason I used to think white people are more superior than me. I honestly don't know why I thought that. I think that was just an innate thing. They're lighter skinned, so they must be better than me. Ever since I came to America when I was like 4 years old, I always tried to be like someone else. I tried to be white, I tried to be black. I always accepted that, you know what, that's just how life is. In order to be cool, in order to be accepted, I just have to act like them and be like them and fit in. But I saw this comic recently and I thought, this is very relatable. I went through a lot of this when I was growing up in the mean streets of Brooklyn. So what is white privilege really? I mean, we all seem to have the same chance in this society to be successful. The people that argue about this are liberals and conservatives. You white people don't understand because you have white privilege and you won't understand. I don't see any laws that helps me over you. We have the same opportunities. You're just lazy as fuck. So why is it that there is this thing called white privilege, but people can disagree on it so much? My theory is both sides have their own definitions of what white privilege is. Let's look at the objective definition of what white privilege is. I show you. A special right, comma, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group of people. Let's break this down a little further. Those are three different ways to describe it, right? This side, which is the liberals, understand it as an advantage. White privilege is just saying that white people have an advantage. This side, the conservatives, what I see from them is they define white privilege as having a special right, which they'll say they don't have a special right. Let me tell you my story. I tell you my story now. After I looked at the comic, I thought, growing up, I went through a lot of that. When I was a kid, my parents didn't have time for me. My dad, he had to work 50, 60 hours a week. And my mom was not really educated. What's the advantage white people had over me? And I'm not saying all white people. They already had the knowledge of how to teach your kids and just the presence of a family helping you out, motivating you and everything. I had to do all that shit myself. And my family was poor. Like, we were poor. I remember at one point when I was a kid, we had 15 people living in a 4-bedroom house. I don't know if that math is right. I might be exaggerating a little. And not just that, in school, we couldn't afford basic things. I had an art project and I needed, you know, those Elmer's glue that cost maybe $1? So when I asked my mom, I need the glue. That's how I talked as a kid. I was very demanding. Glue? The fuck is that? You know, the thing that you use to combine two papers? Like this? Oh, you don't need glue. We just use white rice for that. Are you sure? I mean, white rice doesn't look anything like glue. And the next day I would present my art piece with two papers stuck together with dried rice. We used to smash up the white rice and put it overnight. The white rice would dry up. I would use white rice as glue. But again, none of this I realized. I didn't think about, oh, the white kids have it so much easier because their parents actually know these things. So that's the advantage. That's the advantage that white people have. From childhood to being an adult, they had their parents who had knowledge, who had security, who had money to help them, to guide them. What did I have? Rice as glue. I have rice glue. My mom found me a job at this local store. I wasn't even old enough to work, but you know what? She was like, you need to start working now, man. You need to help this family. I was in middle school. And I worked all throughout middle school till now. So did my two older brothers. We all worked and we didn't get to focus on our studies as much. I could have worked harder. My brothers could have worked harder. We could have done many things, but the point is there was a level of advantage white families had because they had the knowledge on how to do things properly. And you could consider that as a privilege. You know, you have an advantage. You get a head start. That's a privilege. But the same thing is true that if you work hard, you should be able to get yourself out of poverty. If someone else had an advantage over me, that doesn't bother me, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. If you have an advantage over someone, it would be nice to help them, but you're not forced to. There shouldn't be any law where you're forced to help someone. It's up to you if you want to help someone. I'm tired of all this fighting, antagonizing, and I can't stand it, man. I have trouble sleeping at night. I just want everyone to open up their minds a little more. Look at the other side. Let's look at what they're talking about. Help them understand what we're talking about. And just really just talk it out. Make it transparent. But anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for listening to my rant. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Well, I guess it takes 2 seconds, and 2 seconds of your time can be calculated into some monetary value. If you make $10 an hour, 2 seconds of that time, 0.03 cents. By subscribing, it'll cost you 0.03 cents. Come on, that's not so bad. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.